Everyone's gonna see it. That's good,
It'll
isn't
be
it?
fine.
Shut up. Right. Now, you may now continue. Seriously, why I bother with trying to do all this extra special stuff for you people? I have no idea. It's no idea. Anyway, www.twitch.tv/McFadden, Flashing Blade Live, Series 1. I don't really know if I want to tell you what number it is. Because you won't like it. I'm just saying. You won't like it. Anyway, it's 42.
You've got to fight for what you want, for all that you believe. It's right to fight for what we want, to live the way we please. As long as we have done our best, then no one can do more.
Hello there. Welcome to the Flashing Blade podcast. As you can see, we've already started with our high quality. It's good stuff. I'm Siobhan. Down there, and if we're lucky, we might get a quick glimpse of him. We don't know. That's Dominic. Over that way. Oh, there he is.
Hello.
Hey! Over that way now is Brian. And up there with an incredibly crystal clear camera, to be fair, is Eddie.
Oh, you've moved. You were over there.
I know. Don't ask me. It's Discord. It's that simple. It's Discord. Right, yes. So, as always, how have you been, boys? How's the week been for you?
Not bad. Rock standard.
Eddie?
It's been good. Looking forward to tonight.
Twatface?
You told me not to say anything.
Oh.
Brian,
I've been being good.
Brian, explain
I've been
yourself.
respecting our elderly.
He will
Brian,
explain himself
explain
later.
yourself now.
He'll explain himself afterwards.
I've been respecting our elderly.
Yeah, that was not respecting. Oh, did you watch that clip of Count Duckula I put up?
Yes.
Do you see
Yes,
where
that was
I get?
amazing.
In all fairness,
I can totally see it now.
I got the character first, and then I suddenly thought, hang on a second, this is Nanny. And what I didn't know was she has a problem with going through doors. They just burst out around her, which is exactly what my character has. So pure
that's how you
coincidence. Pure coincidence.
So, Nanny, that was my little ducky poos.
Oh, my little ducky poos, you
That's the one.
Brad. Oh, dear, oh, dear, oh, dear. That is such a coincidence, but it's wonderfully funny. So, well, any news during this week? We've got the new Dalek TV series coming out, or YouTube series.
Yes.
Which I have to admit, a little wee came out when they showed that. God, it's only taken them 57 years to do it.
At last.
We've got the new thing. Is it Dalek Universe?
Yes.
Something next year with Mr. Tennant again. God, they're making use of getting him, aren't they?
Yeah.
So
Fast
there's that coming out.
Finishes most prolific.
Well, I know Brian might not have seen this, but what about you two? Did you watch Des, the Dennis Nielsen?
Yes. Very good.
Watched the first one, haven't watched the final two, but Sean and Angela watched it and they really raved about it.
Yeah.
And his take on Nielsen was spot on. I mean, look, accent, everything.
I had heard that BBC received some complaints because it was so gory.
Yeah, well, it was ITV, but yes.
ITV.
Yeah.
Whoever.
It's a case of, well, what the hell do you expect?
Yeah.
Mind you, they
It's
also...
a serial killer, for Christ's sake.
Our Ofcom, the people who sort of keep an eye open on television stations, also got a load of complaints, tens of thousands of complaints, because a dance band called Diversity
Diversity.
on Our Britain's Got Talent did a performance about Black Lives Matter. They had about 30,000 complaints.
Hereby justifying its existence.
Exactly. And fair dues. First of all, Ofcom just turned around and said, fuck off. And then ITV took a full-page ad out in every newspaper just to say, we stand with diversity, Black Lives Matter. That was just... It was wonderful. It really was. It was basically, fuck you, racists. That simple. So that was good. No unboxing videos today. However, there will be 2 next week. Eddie will be doing one.
Oh.
Yeah, they've changed the post times for the time for the last post, so I missed it, which meant I couldn't get it to you for yesterday. So we'll have to do it next Sunday. But I've sent you a present.
Thank you.
That's all right. And I'm getting something very, 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 very special, which I'm very, very happy about. I've wanted ever since I was a kid. So that's going to be cool. Yeah. Anybody got anything they want to say, do, whatever?
No.
Well, good. This is a really, really good show tonight.
Well, one thing, right? But don't tell Angela, right? So
this is the woman you picked up in the street and bullied into speaking on the phone.
Well, I was going to explain that to Brian, right? So I introduced Angela to Angela's very camera shy. So while she didn't think I was on my phone, we were out in the garden on Friday, and it was a Thursday, having my lunch. And it was like, there's Siobhan, there's Angela. Angela was accused of being a random woman that I'd picked up in the street, dragged through and bribed just to speak to Siobhan.
Yeah.
Oh.
Siobhan, you're a genius. You got me. You got me.
That honestly would be my first reaction too. Who is this woman, and did you pay her? Did you just
that's where we
toss her?
Anyway, and now from the world of BBC Television's Doctor Who, it's Doctor Who. By the way, Joe's looking to start a podcast. My original Plucky Girl assistant. And
nice!
I know there's a lot of you out there used to follow her and enjoyed what she brought to the show. So I'll keep you guys up to date about when, where, etc.
Oh, please do.
We'll give her the support.
That'll be good. Well, that'll be plenty of material for us to steal. So just go back and listen to the early. Find it. Do what I do. Find out which Doctor Who we're reviewing. Find the one that Joe reviewed and steal it to bits. It works every week. Joe,
it's a good formula, really.
Cheat. Yeah. I cannot praise you highly enough. And hello, HLW. Blah, 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 blah. Fuck off, you're a bot. Which means Auntie now needs to go actually onto Twitch to the chat room and block this guy. Let's block his ass, boys. Block his ass.
There's Redox. Well, hello, Redox. Joe.
Of course, now I've actually brought the Twitch stream up. That particular bit of chat isn't there, so I can't block him. Radox! Yes! Hello, sweetheart. Anyway, we're not talking about Radox tonight. We're talking about the Horns of Nimon, where the fourth Doctor Who, probably, the second Romana and the second K9 with the silly voice, well, the Doctor's repairing the console and it's a bit of a mess. He's managed to somehow park up next to what seems to be like an unauthorized black hole And there's another ship that's stuck there as well from the Skomon Empire. The reason we watched this is we watched The Leisure Hive a couple of weeks ago, and I wanted to show the boys the difference between one series to the next, difference in producers and script editors. So this was obviously Haunted Nimon is before Leisure Hive. So I've got to ask, Dominic, what did you make of it?
Such fun, isn't it? I mean, well, I say fun, but it is a really, this is really the accidental last hurrah for the Graham Williams era.
And
what
the
with
Tom Baker
Shada
coming
and
half
Never
hour.
coming to fruition. Huh? Yes. And
Daddy Longlegs.
it's an accidental story to go out on, that's for sure.
Yeah.
If there's one thing I can credit this story, it's absolute entertainment when it comes to Soul Deed's amazing overacting. I can't remember the actor's name.
Graham Crowden. And
that's
man
him,
could
yeah.
choose scenery for his country. He was remarkable.
Absolutely
He really was.
Genuinely though, absolutely incredible with his you fools, etc.
My dreams
And
have gone
but as for the story as a whole, it was tricky to watch. The Nimon costumes and everything. I try to be as complimentary as I can because I'm struggling here, but
You are allowed
I
to
didn't
say
like
bad
it. No,
things if you want to.
I could barely stand it.
As a costume expert, though, right? Surely you appreciate the fact with the Nimon costume that obviously there was a load of platform shoes in and about the top of the pop set, sitting there doing nothing, and they basically from the bottom up generated a Doctor Who monster. That's genius. That's brilliant.
Gotta give him credit for that. Yeah,
You've got to.
Gotta give him credit for that, for making use of what was probably a very, very small budget as well. So,
well, they had galloping inflation in '79 and '78.
Oh my!
So what money they had didn't go anywhere near as far as it used to.
Oh God! It's even worse the more you look into it.
Oh yeah, but
it's not even their fault.
Look at this. Look what they managed to achieve.
They still put together a story.
As Terrence Sticks, his main thing was getting an episode out on the Saturday night.
Yeah.
And they did it.
Yeah. They absolutely did it. And that's still respectable. I mean, as much as I'm not a fan of the story, it's just a bit too shallow in some respects. And
it is a
far
story.
Too comedic, I guess, and it's just hard to take seriously. And I mean that in the Graham Williams era, but especially this one, it just seemed a bit more egregious than the rest.
It was very Christmassy, to be fair. Anyway, let's talk to the weakling scum down there in the corner, Brian.
Oof. Speaking of weakling scum, I've had to stop myself from shouting that at people lately. Just walking by, weakling scum.
That's one of the best parts about the Haunted Nimon.
It was. It's a retelling of Theseus and the Minotaur, and okay, we get it. It's based off of something else. That's fine. The Theseus in this one, not very heroic, really.
He lied about being a prince, and look what I
that girl really wants him to be the hero, and she's like his number one fan.
Do you know who that girl is?
Janet Ellis from Blue Peter. Yeah. Sophie Ellis Bextor's mum.
Well, there we go. Eddie's already said it.
There we go.
Yep.
I couldn't help myself. I had a schoolboy crush on Janet Ellis and Blue Peter when I was young. What a woman.
That's fair.
That's fair.
What did you and keep talking, Brian. I don't really want any in-depth stuff. It's the Horns of Nimon, but say what you can.
Dear God, the costuming. The Nimon themselves. I remember doing a school production play of Paul Bunyan, and I had to paint up the blue ox, and I think they were on a par. Mind you, this was when I was in 4th grade, but still, I think they're on a par. The Nimon, and it just, oh God, please make it stop.
Big Finish brought them back. Seasons of Fear, I believe it was called, written by Cornell. Actually wasn't at all bad. Eddie, please do talking whilst I try and evacuate my nose.
Well, if I can consult my Hong Kong Book of Kung Fu, or also known as What Did Joe Say in Episode 46, Season 1, Flash and Blade podcast. So it's this is seriously, you were right. Oh, Tom Unleashed. We get jelly babies thrown left, right, and centre. Not just one. It was like we're handing them out by the trowelful. There's absolutely no jeopardy in this, except for poor Lala. I mean, Romana. This is her episode. I thought Lala Ward was great in this. The level of ham in this episode, Dominic got it so right with the guy that played Dulcid. I mean, there's more ham in that than Sainsbury's Delicatessen. It's off the charts.
You're muted.
You're muted, Siobhan. There's no need for that language.
I'm sorry.
Soldeed.
Soldeed, yes.
And you should have known him because Graham Crowden is a fellow countryman of yours.
He is a fellow Scotsman. He's been tons of stuff, yeah.
Why they're refusing to unmute?
Is it just me, or does Soldy bear an uncanny resemblance to the High Sparrow from Game of Thrones?
Oh God, no! That's just a bizarre mental image.
They look almost the same.
Oh, how many Nimon have you seen today?
My wife watched this with me, and she made a really, really good observation. So tell me if I'm wrong, right? So she's my wife, who doesn't exist, basically says, so this is supposed to be a parasitic invasion force. Why is it we only ever see 3 of them at the one time? And then I had to explain it was 1979. It was the time of mass inflation and cutbacks. And I will be honest, she did note the platform issues thing. She noticed that. I don't notice. They certainly are.
They are hip, man. They are with it.
I missed the first 2 episodes on original transmission. I'd been sent to France to stay with some cousins in Paimpol. Worst Christmas of my life. Not because of the cousins. They did their very best, but I didn't speak the language properly. I had a few words, but that was it. So
you picked up anything in the interim period?
Oh yeah. I have examinations for my French.
Well, I liked it. I enjoyed it. It was a bit. It wasn't serious. It was a bit of a chuckle. I quite enjoyed it, and I thought Lala was great.
The last 2 episodes, and I'm aching to see the first 2 episodes, because with the first 2 episodes you get Weakling Scum, and you also get that fascinating TARDIS dematerialization noise. I'm sure Bloodknock's stomach is in there somewhere, though that apparently has been disproved. But with glass breaking and burp, 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 and the like.
Oh yes.
Oh yeah.
And Tom looking straight to camera, going, "Well, that was odd." Hello, Eddie's doing his natural thing.
That's. Mm-hmm. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Mama, can you hear me?
This is how you do it.
I have no camera at the moment, and it's not giving me the option to go on camera, so we'll see what happens.
He's making signs at me. You know this, don't you? Yeah. We're not gonna spend what is he doing now? There we go. We're not going to spend too long talking about Horns of Nimon. It's a bit of silly fun. If you want to watch it and you just want to mush your brain for a little bit, watch it. But the idea was to highlight the difference between 1979 and 1980 Doctor Who.
Yeah.
Because the Leisure Hive
is a world of difference.
Oh, yeah.
Perhaps we should have done it the other way around, but the timing didn't allow that. In 2 weeks' time, we're looking at Meglos, which I'm quite looking forward to. A little bit of Meglos.
The cactus.
I think it's 2 weeks' time. Hang on, what is the date? It's the
20th of September.
20th.
So that would be 1, 2. Yeah, Meglos. We'll look at Meglos in 2 weeks' time. Unfortunately, between now and then, we've got next Sunday.
Brian.
I tried. I couldn't help it. If they weren't playing supervillains,
Everything are not villains.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Who destroyed the world?
Jess.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
Who helped?
Spanky.
Who, as I seem to recall, somebody went flying through a bunch of cultists with their sword out and just eviscerated and smeared them all over the place. I wonder who that was.
She said they were naughty people.
Mm-hmm.
See, I've learned not to trust Jess anymore.
See, regular D&D gamers will get this reference. When the paladin's moral high ground is up here and yet comes down gradually over the campaign to become just another murder hobo.
Anyway, it was a good... We finished the scenario last night. We'll talk about it later. We can talk about it now. And you, by the way, you forgot to dish out the karma.
Season finale.
So you dish out karma, good, because we spent a lot last night.
You spent like what, 3,000?
No. We started off with about 1,000, and I think we went down to about 300. So yeah, you owe us
only
karma.
600. You're fine.
As a result of Brian insisting that Benjamin J. Grimm, a.k.a. the Thing from the Fantastic Four, is now in a hell dimension being tortured, and there's nothing I can do about it.
He's alive! What more do you want? I killed off 3 out of the 4. Come on!
Oh,
I left him alive just for you so you can rescue him.
There's tormentation, and then there's throwing somebody over a cliff, Brian. My goodness.
I left him purposefully alive so Siobhan can get the chance to rescue her hero.
So next week, we're watching the Crotons.
The Croutons. Okay.
Crotons. Okay.
Second Doctor story.
Do they come with a salad?
Everybody makes a joke like that to do with the Crotons. I will point out you ducked some other ones, to be fair. We could have gone for the Sensorites or the Keys of Marinus. But no, 4 episodes, the Crotons. That's what we'll do next week, I think. So, yeah, enjoy. Now, we did other watching as well. As part of an occasional thing, we're watching The Tomorrow People. Now, this is a program from my childhood, when I was 6, when I was 7. And it was sort of ITV's answer to Doctor Who. The problem with this, ITV was a franchise operation. And so each individual local TV company makes their own programs and has to sell it around the rest of the network. So the money, to be fair, because they were local operations, the money really wasn't there. And it was a little bit early 1970s kids TV in places. However, we watched the first one, The Slaves of Jedikiah, and I'd caught glimpses of this, of them running around trees and this, and I thought, oh God, this is going to be bloody silly. I absolutely bloody adored watching the whole thing through.
Yep.
I really did. It was wonderful. I mean, The Tomorrow People has always been up there in my top 2-3 favourite kids shows. It really is. It's probably, and I'm going to say this, it's probably got the best title sequence ever. And I include a certain time traveller in that. Because some of those images that come rushing towards you are so unsettling. It's
just don't have epilepsy.
Yes.
It starred Francis de Wolfe, who was quite a name back then. I'm not quite sure what went wrong with his performance. I think somebody said play him as a robot, because he was a robot. And so he did. So let us reverse twist this and go to Eddie and say, Eddie, The Tomorrow People, Slaves of Jedikiah. What did he make of it?
For me, I remember this as well. Probably must have been a reruns and stuff, because I was born 71, so it's from 73, 74, 73.
Not sure.
I do have vivid memories of the Tomorrow People. And like yourself, Siobhan, I really enjoyed this. It's a kids' TV program, but see, when you watch this, I'm watching it, and all I could think was David Cronenberg, and all I could think was Scanners. Because if you think the plot of Scanners, it's somebody coming out, they're getting overpowered by all these thoughts that they're picking up because they're developing the ability to listen to people's thoughts, and it's too much, and they've got other powers out there, and they're coming out, and it's very Cronenbergian.
Okay, this original air date was 30th of April 1973 to the 4th of June 1973. So you can see what they were trying to do with Jedikiah. They wanted the master.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we already had Roger Delgado. So everyone else...
He wasn't
it's
available.
like getting that one card in Top Trumps, which beats everything else.
Yeah. Yeah. So they couldn't get Delgado, but they got... this is like David Cronenberg for kids. It's organic technology. It's the whole thing around people being persecuted because they're next evolutionary step in man. It's Scanners. So I honestly, David Cronenberg must have watched this because a lot of what's in Scanners was stolen from the Tomorrow People. I'm sure of that now. You go back and watch it. Watch Scanners, and Scanners I'm a big fan of because Pat's in it. Great picture, but this is Scanners. It's Scanners for kids.
Just less head explodey.
Oh, he's coming. That's coming. That's later.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, I know.
As you watch it, the title sequence, your head explodes. That's where Cronenberg got ideas. It must have. The other bits I really liked about that is as well as it's very regional pronounced. Like we've got Carol, who's very politely spoken, and same with John. But we've got Ginge, we've got Lefty, we've got Kenny. So for the scummy kids like me in a housing estate in Castlemilk, there was characters in there that I could relate to. So no, I really enjoyed this. I'm going to just continue watching them because it's a bit of the X-Men, bit of Cronenberg. But no, I really enjoyed. Seriously, I wish somebody would pick it up like BritBox and just put it out there and re-show it again, because this is something that deserves a second watch by people, and I'm sure it would get an audience.
You know, that brings my
Sci-Fi Channel picked it up, I believe, in the 90s and started showing it, and that's where I started to really enjoy it again, but then it just stopped.
That's done my heart the world of good hearing you say that, quite frankly. What do you make of it?
This has to be, all right, 8, 9, 10-year-old Brian, his favorite TV show,
Was
hands
he as
down.
cruel to his friends as you are?
Oh, yes. Yes, he was.
Okay.
The Nelson Muntz of Syracuse. That's who Brian was, the Nelson Muntz of Syracuse.
It's all the winter. It makes us hard. Makes us cruel. When Nickelodeon first started when I was a kid, you have 8 hours of frickin' Pinwheel, which is for all the little toddlers.
Okay.
And then 4 o'clock in the afternoon, Tomorrow People came on. And Brian was just sitting in front like, it was fantastic. Loved it. I've watched it since then. I'm glad I have it now as a full series. I cannot say enough about this show. The fact that it starts with the whole evolution, I never quite understood why they can't kill.
It's
but
the next stage of evolution, getting rid of violence.
Yeah, that's a little
and who
iffy.
Says they can't kill?
They do. They can't. There's actually an episode in Tomorrow People where one of them accidentally kills and it like shatters her mind.
I would like to point you to one of the Big Finish audios. I don't know if I've got them, and I don't think they're on the site anymore.
No, they lost the license.
Yeah, it was one of the original Tomorrow People comes back and turns out to be a killer.
Mm-hmm.
And it's driven him
completely mad.
Yeah.
Didn't they do that in the remake as well? I'm sure they did that.
They did that in the
Which
CW show.
The CW, right? Because there's
the
two.
CW show. One of them was like programmed or deprogrammed, allowed to kill or something. And honestly, that show lost so freaking much from this show. I mean, they tried to make it up and hip. They tried to make it a CW show, you know, pretty teenage people running around doing pretty teenage
Oh, you
things.
mean an American television show?
Yeah. And honestly, it didn't work for them. That's why
This
they
is
only
what
got one
gets me
season.
about a lot of remakes or reboots on the telly. They tend to cut out all the good stuff.
Yeah.
And replace it with
Crap.
It annoys me. Dominic, my love, this must be fairly new for you, I would have thought.
Yes, I mean, it's extremely informative hearing you guys talk about in the depth that you are. I mean, with the prior
I'm
experience.
sorry, I have to correct you here, love. We never talk about anything in depth here. This is the Flashing Blade.
Take that back. Take that back,
We're
Dominic.
kind of superficial.
Yeah.
Well, that's sure. I mean, from the context, it does seem it had quite an impact. I mean, incredibly fascinating how something can have a better title sequence than The Favorite Time Traveler, of course.
Yeah.
Oh.
But it is.
Psychedelic intros. It's a staple of the 70s and whatnot. Especially in things like, what was it, The Avengers?
Avengers was more 60s.
60s.
New Avengers was 70s. Had Pudley in it. Pudley was great.
Oh,
Pudley was
God,
the
you
best.
set him off, Dominic.
Just wait till we get into later episodes, Dominic. It gets even better.
Even more psychedelic. I like the idea of that. I do like a good psycho.
There's also the whole aspect of them becoming pawns of the government.
Government conspiracy.
Government conspiracies. Jedikiah comes.
Brian, don't give too much away, okay?
I'm not. We
right,
meet aliens. We meet lots of aliens in it.
And go round in a loop for 3 episodes for no real reason.
And
they needed to make 3 episodes of television.
I believe this series is the first that actually gave credence to the whole ancient astronaut theory.
Ancient astronaut?
Okay, go on, explain.
Oh.
Yeah. Later on in the series, we'll get to it. There's a couple episodes that give credence, that pay lip service. Somebody's been reading Eric Von Daniken.
And back then, that was a popular thing.
Yeah. Hugely popular in the 70s.
Good Lord.
But like I say, don't give anything away, Brian, because I'm going to be picking and choosing stories for us to watch that will have particular moments in or themes. And I don't want that given away. So
I told you, I memorized this favorite show.
I've got to admit, the love you guys got to it has just warmed my heart. It really has.
I think Lillibut as well was a big fan, because when I was saying about BritBox should pick it up, shoot it with retweet and stuff, I think it must be the same thing. I mean, Lillibut, same age as yourself. Brian, I think as well picked it up. It was like Doctor Who, PBS, Nickelodeon, the Tomorrow People. So
oh yeah, they need to put this thing on BritBox.
I agree with you totally. The thing is, the rights could be messed up because remember they eventually got passed on to the CW. So you've got to wait to see when they're going to become free again and pass back to the original owners. I think that's part of the reason that Big Finish had to stop doing their stuff. I could be wrong there to guess, but it seems likely. That's cheered me up. I like that. That's good. Anyway, next week we're not looking at the Tomorrow People. Like I say, that's a guest series that's going to be popping in. We're actually going to be listening to the new Time War box set starring Paul McGann and Terry Malloy. Big Finish has made Davros's Genesis story, I, Davros, available very, very cheaply on the website. I recommend getting it because it is a great 4-part introduction to Davros and how he came to be as we knew him. It's Radox to Red Cross, but they have remember this is all new to them. This is ITV's kids television trying desperately with a far smaller budget than Doctor Who had to try and get it out. So drifting there. What was I saying?
You were talking about the Time War Big Finish, but then you were talking about Idavros.
Right. So it's sort of pertinent to listen to Idavros before this, before listening to the Time War, but you don't need to. All right. I mean, the boys have got the sets. There's no pressure on them to listen to them, but like I say, next week we will be looking at the Time War with McGann and Malloy, so that should be really interesting, quite frankly. So there's that. Now then, it's the time on the show where we turn to Brian and say, Brian, did you enjoy Life on Mars this week?
You know, I can't even remember what they did this episode. It's been that long. Yeah. So we'll go with.
I'm sorry I was ill last week. Perhaps we could have actually had...
How dare you? How dare you?
Actually, I do need to apologise. Yeah, I am sorry. But I will...
No, you don't.
No, you don't. You don't
No,
have
you
to
don't.
apologize.
I'm
No.
not too well
Just to
tonight,
us.
guys. So...
We have to apologise that we can't do it without you. We're so heavily dependent on your good self.
This is
We
what I
can't
said to
go.
you.
So
You could
so
have done
so
it.
me, Brian, and Dominic have to apologise, and
Yes, we
Dominic
have to
doesn't need
apologize.
to.
We are not up to your standards of
Standards.
broadcast excellence.
Yeah, but the only way you're going...
We are not professionals. You are our professional guiding light.
You're fucked.
You are.
Quite frankly. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. You start Twitch streaming now, Brian. I would happily give you the login details for my Twitch stream so that if I can't make it, the three of you can do the show yourselves. You'd be more than welcome.
Nope.
Nope.
We told you before. One for all and all for one. Ride or die.
It's not just that, but I do like to see my co-hosts fly. You know, fledgling fleas a coop, that sort of thing.
Oh, trust me, I've fallen on my face a bunch lately.
Yeah, I was going to say,
can sort of
dodos
tell
don't
if
fly.
I'm honest with you.
Dodos don't fly.
Yeah, it's a little...
So anyway, Life on Mars episode 6. Sam answers a phone that's not connected to anything. And it's his mum basically saying they're going to switch him off at 2 o'clock. At about the same time, in comes Phyllis sort of saying there's been a hostage situation at the local newspaper. And he's got until 2 o'clock to sort it out. He turns up at the scene, takes control of the scene, starts instituting modern-day police practices for this sort of thing. And then Jean turns up. Well, in a china shop. Eventually, they manage to get Annie into the offices as a nurse, which is useful. And then Sam says, look, I will come in. I'll come in unarmed. I'll bring you some water. I'll bring you some sandwiches. And we can talk. Still trying to keep it going. Unfortunately, when he does that, Jean creeps in behind him. And it sort of goes wrong from there. And Sam is desperate that nobody dies. Not before 2 o'clock. Nobody dies. Brian, what do you make of it?
I thought it was good having the dichotomy between modern police practices and what they used to do.
My God, that's an intelligent sentence for this bloody podcast, isn't it?
I know. I'm sorry. I'll dumb it down.
Please do.
Modern stuff good, old stuff bad.
Thank you.
No problem. Sam trying to talk everybody down, Jean included in that, because Jean's just going, shoot them all up and we'll let God sort them out.
It's interesting to note that Jean's starting to trust Sam's instincts.
He's winning them over.
Well, you know, Sam handed the guy Jean's gun, so he didn't really have much choice but to trust Sam's instincts in that. We did get to see a little bit more of Jean's backstory, though.
Did we?
The lady reporter there who wrote the story on Jean in the past.
Do you remember what he
yeah, there's
said?
definitely a history
When they were
there.
sort of saying,
Not a
moment,
clue.
When they were saying, the three of them are locked up in the room, and it's your happiest moment, and Annie says something. Sam, about his birthday when his dad turned up. What did Jean say? He doesn't look to the past, does he?
I have no idea.
You may want to remember that fact, Brian.
Uh-huh.
That's all I'm going to say. What did you make of the cutaway to the trees and the voice and the footsteps? Any idea what that means?
Yeah, he's in a coma. He's dying.
All right, and you reckon the trees and whatever, that's all part of it?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Well,
That's all I see. I mean, he's in a coma. That's what I'm seeing here.
all right, fair enough. Okay, good. Dominic, my love, do some speaking for us, please.
I'm going to do some speaking, but I had this awful realization that I've watched the wrong episode. I accidentally skipped one because of the week gap, and I was just like, okay.
Dominic, welcome aboard. We've all done it. We all make a point of doing it. You're one of us.
Yeah, you're in now, kid.
I watched episode 7 by mistake. I didn't even realize that he hadn't even done episode 6. I was just like, is this the one? This is the next one. Oh. And then I hear the description, and I was like, oh, God.
You know, this means I've got to send him his certificate.
So I came in here ready to talk about covers up and wrongful deaths, etc. And then I hear about this, and I'm like, okay, a little bit far in the future, Dom. I forgot there was an episode.
To be honest, episode 7's great. Episode 6 is. I'm not surprised you forgot it, Brian, because it's not one of my favourites.
Episode 6. It's
I think episode 7
was the lady reporter. I liked her.
Episode 7 was written by Chris Chibnall as well, so I was just like, a conversation point. Oh,
I
wait.
now look forward to watching episode 7 again.
Yes.
Okay, so Dominic enjoyed it. That's good to know. So, Brian.
Yeah.
Mad, in a coma, or back in time?
Coma.
Test card girl.
Personification of death.
I'm not going to ask you this question. Actually, fuck it, I will. Because there's something that happened in this episode you're going to have to remember. Who is Gene Hunt?
Part of his id.
Okay. It's funny you say that when we get to Ashes, because Alex Drake, who takes over from Sam, is actually a proper police psychologist or something like that.
Yeah.
So, okay. Yeah, that's a question I need to keep ticking at the back of your mind. Who is Gene Hunt? All right.
Shouldn't it be, what is Gene Hunt from my perspective then?
Why is Gene Hunt? Sorry,
Where is Gene Hunt?
I thought we were doing the Guardians of the Galaxy thing.
We were.
Okay. But I'm going to be honest with you. We've had some good stuff to do this week, haven't we?
We have.
And Dominic's already way ahead of us on next week. He can put his feet up.
Just a bit, yeah.
Yeah. I watched it as well. We watched it during the week. Episode 7's great. Brian, you've got to like episode 7.
Well,
You will.
Eddie has to keep up with the